moldy bread, because that's literally all they have access to, right? We are witnessing in real time a Holocaust. It's an extermination campaign. It's a campaign of annihilation against Palestinians in Gaza. That's what it is. Now there's also reports that Israel is trying to move all the Palestinians into one particular area in Gaza, I believe in South Gaza. And then the concern is, well, then they'll try to finish the ethnic cleansing and shove these people into Egypt or Jordan or wherever to just get them to clear the territory so that they can steal the territory. We knew about this from early on in the genocide, that they were hosting conventions about how to resettle Gaza, right? And so what's so crazy to me is all of this is out in the open. All of it's out in the open. Everybody's aware of it. And it's just, for some reason, everybody just sort of baked into their memory that, like, yeah, the Israelis are barbarians and they're committing a genocide, but, like, nobody does anything about it, right? And then you got this guy, doctor on the ground, telling you the reality. Guys, they've had to do countless amputations for children in Gaza with no anesthesia. The most horrific, nightmare-like pain you could ever imagine that we literally can't even imagine because most people will never touch that level of pain. That's what's happening to children on a daily basis in Gaza. It was like multiple kids every day needing an amputation with no anesthesia. They bombed over 20 hospitals in Gaza. Over 20. They bombed schools. They did controlled demolitions and blew up universities. This is what you do when you're trying to wipe a whole people off the map. And then as I talk to you again, the horrors, the atrocities, the war crimes continue on a daily basis. And, you know, I just saw this right before we started doing the show. Drop site news reports, Israeli strikes kill over 100 across Gaza over the weekend. Between Saturday and Sunday, Israeli airstrikes killed over 100 Palestinians across Gaza, 51 on Saturday and more than 50 on Sunday, pounding homes, displacement camps, cafes, and civilian gatherings. Bodies were pulled from the rubble of bombed family homes, tents in so-called humanitarian zones, and roadside rest stops. In Yemen, U.S. strikes killed at least 12 civilians over the weekend, including women and children, in attacks on civilian targets, including residential homes. So let me show you, somebody recorded a video of some of the bombing of tents, and this is not the first time, this happens on a regular basis. They set up these humanitarian zone with tents, and then Israel comes in and starts carpet bombing the tents. Watch this. This is daily life in Gaza, man. This is daily life. There will come a time in the future when everybody looks and says, like, what the fuck how did this happen? How did you guys let this happen? And everybody needs to understand, you don't want to weigh in on your conscience that you didn't say everything you could say and do everything you could do to help these people. I mean, at this point, you need to sanction Israel. You need to sanction them. You need to cut off the money. You need to cut off the weapons. You have to arrest Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and all the war criminals. Arrest the Israeli commanders. We learned also the other day that if you have a liberal IDF commander, they will say, kill every adult male. That's what the more liberal IDF commanders will say, okay? The ones who are not liberal, the ones who are more conservative, will come out there and say, just kill everything that moves. This is something that was just reported the other day, that this is how it functions on the ground, that the commanders get leeway as to how they want to run it, and the nicer ones say, just kill every man that's an adult. By the way, there's only 30 to 40,000 Hamas members in Gaza. There's 2.3 million people in Gaza, or at least there were. If you're killing every man, you're also committing just colossal war crimes and killing many innocent people, right? This is what we're witnessing, y'all. This is what we're witnessing. The barbarism is out there in the open. How many times on Israeli TV do they casually discuss purposely killing children, sniping them in the face, starving them all? This is what we're seeing. It is a moral atrocity and a stain on this world that humanity has let it get this far. Netanyahu has to be arrested. The IDF, all the war criminals have to be arrested. You got to sanction the shit out of Israel. You got to force a deal on them. I'm not interested in what their thoughts are. I'm not interested in whether or not they agree to any particular specifics in a deal. I'm not interested. Only 3% of the country said we think the IDF has gone too far. Okay, well, you've lost your right to have an opinion on this. Right? The U.S. is the sugar daddy anyway, so the sugar daddy needs to fucking rein you the fuck in and bring justice back to the situation. But of course, that's not true, because the reality is Donald Trump would have to be in the fucking Hague right next to Netanyahu, because he's a war criminal just like Netanyahu is. But this is just one testimony from one doctor, one clip of what it's like. The horror stories are absolutely positively endless. And you have, what's so crazy to me is you literally have every human rights group in the world all saying the same thing. And the US and Israel just don't care. Just totally ignore it. They just totally ignore it. You know, Amnesty International released a report saying, yes, this is fucking genocide. Right? There's been, again, every human rights group says the same thing. And they're just ignored. So, unfortunately, I don't have any positive news to end this segment with here. Other than to say, my heart is with the people of Palestine and what they're going through. And we can't forget and we can't stop talking about it because this is something that humanity will never live down. Because it really shows how there's been zero evolution from hundreds of years ago. From wars of empire and conquest. You know, the concept of not even having an international human rights framework. They have rolled the clock back to make that a reality again. And that is not a world I want to live in or any of us should want to live in. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.